What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, guys, so we are actually going to begin our coverage over DC's latest event, which is known as Knight Terrors. This is going to be a 2-month event. And honestly, I feel like DC is doing too much when it comes to the main storyline and the tie-ins as well, all coming out in 2 months. But hey, this is DC's bright idea for a summer event. Now, when it comes to Knight Terrors, of course, we already know this is going to be one of those nightmare storylines. And of course, each tie-in is going to focus on each character and their nightmares that they have to deal with. Now, with that being said, though, this right here, Knight Terrors First Blood, is a one-shot that's kind of like a prelude that leads into the actual main event, Knight Terrors. And so you have to read this book before you jump into all the tie-ins and also the main storyline as well. Now, with that being said, before we can actually dive deep into the storyline, we have to sit down and actually talk about a certain character better known as Dr. Destiny, because he's the reason why we're getting this event. Well, he's kind of being used as a plot device by someone else who's basically the main bad guy of this event, but I still want to sit down and kind of explain who Dr. Destiny actually is. Now, the reason why I want to sit down and actually talk about Dr. Destiny, because when it comes to the character, over the years in DC Comics, he had a lot of different kinds of origins. And the reason why, because DC had rebooted a lot of times over the years. And so this character has been around since 1961. And so this character had gone through a couple reboots when it comes to DC Comics. And of course, every single reboot, DC has been trying to rework the character to make him a tad bit more interesting. And the reason why, because Dr. Destiny first appeared back in Justice League of America number 5 back in 1961. And that was still pre-Crisis. And so back in pre-Crisis, when it came to Dr. Destiny, he was just your regular thief. Like literally your regular thief, but he was also a scientist. And so he had the brain to make some crazy technology that would kind of help him warp reality or play around with people's dreams. But again, it was all tech-based. Now, over the years in DC Comics, he would kind of get more advanced with his technology, but then post-crisis happened. Now, when post-crisis actually happened, they still gave him the same origin, saying like, hey, listen, when it comes to Dr. Destiny, he's still your petty thief, but he's one heck of a scientist, and he would use different kinds of machines that would kind of help him play around with people's dreams, and sometimes bring those dreams into reality. Now, that was his origin pre-crisis, and at first post-crisis. But over the years in post-crisis, you had DC once again trying to rework the character. And with that being said, they gave Dr. Destiny the ability to find the Dreamstone. Now, with the Dreamstone, of course, it gave him the ability to, of course, now play with folks' dreams without technology. And so he was able to warp reality around you and bring your dreams to reality. And so it made him more very interesting character for DC Comics. Now, this is where things get a tad bit confusing, because New 52 happened, and as we know, thanks to Flashpoint, the entire DC universe was reset. Now, I say the entire, but not really Batman or Green Lantern. Either way, though, when it came to Dr. Destiny, he did get a newer origin, because again, DC was trying to kind of fix him up, make him a tad bit better. And what they said was he was an ancient sorcerer from the 1500s, and he always had the Dreamstone on him, and he was able to play with reality and bring your dreams into reality. But that was his New 52 origin. But when it came to DC Rebirth, apparently in DC Rebirth, they said, forget about that New 52 origin. That got thrown in the trash. forget about it. We're going back to his post-crisis origin where he was a petty thief, and then over the years he got better and better, but then he finally found the Dreamstone, which gave him the ability to actually play around with people's dreams and bring those dreams into reality. And so that is kind of like the quick rundown of Dr. Destiny. Now, I could have added more details into the character, but honestly, that's all you need to know about Dr. Destiny for this storyline as we finally jump into this storyline now. And so finally getting into today's video, we actually do pick up with Dr. Destiny. Now, before we dive deeper into the story, I do want to mention one more thing. When it comes to Dr. Destiny, his real name is John Dee. Just in case I forgot to tell you that earlier, now you know his real name. Now, when it comes to Dr. Destiny, he's right now in the Dreaming. Now, when it comes to the Dreaming, it's one of the many realms in DC Comics where all dreams take place at. And matter of fact, when you go to sleep, your dreams begin here. So your mind wanders into this realm. And so with that being said, right now, he's having a dream where he has his wife, has 2 kids. It's a great dream. But here's the problem though. The dream begins to turn to a nightmare. Now this unlocks a new realm in DC Comics known as the Nightmare Realm. And so right now, he's no longer in the Dreaming, he's now going into the Nightmare Realm. Now, for a character like Dr. Destiny, who has been dealing with dreams for so many years, he's kind of like, no. I know how my mind works. I know how dreams work, and I'm not going to let you come into my dreams and try to change my dream into a nightmare. This is my dream. This is my mind. You are not going to change anything in here at all. It's under my control. But the problem is though, whoever is right now trying to come into his brain right now, they have full control of his brain, full control of his dream. And so even though he made that powerful speech, it honestly means nothing at all. Because now you have this person who we have no idea who it is yet, begin the process of showing him his nightmare. And so to begin his nightmare, we actually do see him right now be transported over to the Hall of Justice. Now, this makes sense because when it comes to Dr. Destiny, he always been more of a Justice League villain, not really for a particular character, but for all of them. I mean, there have been some cases where he was made for just Green Lantern, but most of the time he's been a Justice League villain. And so when he's been transported over to the Hall of Justice, this is him right now kind of like, why was I brought here? I hate them with a passion. I want to kill off the Justice League. But that is the moment he sees a painting. And when he sees that painting, it comes to life and it actually grabs him. But when he does get grabbed, we do see that our mysterious character is asking for a particular item. And he's looking for the opposite of the Dreamstone. He's looking for the Nightmare Stone. And so now it's kind of like, okay, now we know what our mysterious bad guy wants, but the question is though, who is our mysterious bad guy? But then we pick up with Deadman. Now, like his name says, Deadman, he's literally a spirit. Now, with that being said, though, when it comes to Deadman, I feel like he's a character that most DC fans know of. But just in case, when it comes to Deadman, aka Boston Brand, he was actually a showman. Now, here's the problem, though. He was assassinated. And so when he became a spirit, he was actually given the task to find out who his killer was. And so once he was able to find his killer and deal with that problem right there, he thought he had a chance to finally go into the afterlife. Unfortunately, he was lied to. So even though he did find his killer, he's stuck now being Deadman, and he's stuck on the earth just walking around as a spirit. And so that is literally his entire origin. But he's been around for so many years, and on top of that, he is a fan favorite when it comes to DC comic fans. But when it comes to Deadman, he is going to be the character that we are actually going to follow for this entire event. But with that being said, you do have Deadman right now watching Superman. Now, when it comes to Superman, this right here is going to begin the idea of Deadman kind of observing each person of the Trinity. Now, when I say the Trinity, I mean the big three in DC Comics. So Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now, with that being said, when he does see Superman, he's kind of like, you know what? That guy right there has the biggest heart in the world, which honestly is true. But it also shows that Deadman really does look up to Superman. But with that, you didn't have Superman get a call, what seems to be to the Hall of Justice. And so you do have him fly away to head over to the Hall of Justice. Now, something else to mention is that when it comes to Deadman, he did sense something different about Superman. And so he said, let me go ahead and follow him to make sure that everything is okay. Now, he does watch Superman actually meet up with Wonder Woman, another member of the Trinity. Now, as soon as they meet up, you have Deadman kind of remember the latest storyline for Wonder Woman, where she actually had died, but then she was brought back to life. And that's all you need to know. But for Deadman, he's kind of like, she is one of the greatest or the greatest warrior of all time on Earth. But as he's following Superman, he realized the same thing he's sensing off Superman, he's also sensing right now off Wonder Woman as well. And that right there brings more concern to these two characters right now, because now he's following two characters and he does sense some kind of weird presence around both characters. And so you do have Deadman follow Superman and Wonder Woman over to the Hall of Justice. Now, when they do arrive at the Hall of Justice, that is the moment you have Deadman say, oh my gosh, why does it feel like Superman, Wonder Woman in the Hall of Justice feel somewhat haunted, like they're being followed by some kind of spirits? This right here is not normal. Now, you do have our two characters go into the Hall of Justice, but when they go inside the Hall of Justice, that is the moment they are confronted by Batman, which means that now you have the complete Trinity all here together to kind of talk about a new kind of problem. And the problem is that when it comes to the Hall of Justice, there was this particular area that was locked down. And of course, the alarm to that area is going off. But when it comes to that alarm, it only alerts three characters: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Now, of course, to Superman, he's kind of like, what if one of the people from the crowd got into the Hall of Justice, into that particular room, and they on accident set that alarm off? But you have Batman say, that's not possible, because when it comes to that particular room in the Hall of Justice, the security for that room is so tight that even Superman will have a hard time getting into that room. And so right now it's kind of like, okay, that's weird. So you're telling us that there is a particular room in the Hall of Justice that only alerts you three guys, and apparently something has set it off, and the security for that room is supposed to stop Superman. That right there is very concerning. And so you do have all three characters walk in, except when they do walk in, they find the body of Dr. Destiny. They're kind of like, wait a second, we have a dead body here in this room right now. Like, who in the world was able to get past our security to just leave us a dead body? Like, what in the world is going on here right now? And of course, they have no idea. And so they begin to investigate the body, but they also begin to think back to who Dr. Destiny was. And this was a section where you kind of get a quick rundown of the origin of Dr. Destiny. But for you guys, I already did that earlier in this video. Either way, that is the moment you have Batman get a call from Harley Quinn, because at this point in DC Comics, she's technically part of the Bat family. But right now, you have her calling up Batman saying, hey, listen, I'm at the hospital, and I want to tell you right now, John D, Dr. Destiny, he's here at the hospital, but he's having one heck of a nightmare, and the doctors can't do anything about it. And so for Batman, he's like, wait, you just said Dr. Destiny, John D, is there as well? And it's kind of like, what do you mean he's there as well? Because now that means we have two versions of John D right now in two different locations. One is dead and the other one is close to dying at the hospital. And so the question is, what in the world is going on? But to Batman, he's kind of like, okay, this has to be magic. But then Deadman realized this is not magic at all. So you do have Deadman try to enter the body of Dr. Destiny. The problem is, though, he is unable to actually access the body of Dr. Destiny. And so you have Deadman say, well, fine, if I cannot access the body of Dr. Destiny, I'll take over the body of Batman instead. Now, when he does, this is really Deadman telling Superman and Wonder Woman, hey guys, listen, this is worse than magic. Like, this is not even magic at all. What's happening right now, Dream and Death are combining as one. And that right there should not be happening at all. And so with that, you have our heroes kind of freaking out. Now, with that being said, though, Batman was able to push Deadman out of his body, where Batman was able to regain control of his body. But Batman heard everything Deadman said. And so right now, our heroes have to go their separate ways to hopefully find a way to save the day. So Batman is going to Arkham Tower to see the other body of Dr. Destiny. You have Superman say, you know what? Let me go ahead and go to Supercorp, and hopefully we have a game plan to kind of figure out what in the world is going on. And when it comes to Wonder Woman, she said, listen, even though this is not magic, I'm still calling in Zatanna because just in case we might need magic to help save the day. And so our heroes go their separate ways, except when they leave, we do see a lady on the phone and she watches our heroes fly off, but she calls someone up and say, hey boss, they left. They have left Ground Zero. We come to find out that technically that random lady who was outside the Hall of Justice watching our heroes fly off, she called up Amanda Waller. And now Amanda Waller wants to know what in the world is going on. And so she tells a robot to kind of shine the light on whatever the heroes are actually up to. It's just her wanting to know what in the world is about to happen to the planet. And so you do have Batman arrive to Arkham Tower or the hospital. Either way, he's there to check up on the other Dr. Destiny, the one that is alive. But here's the problem though. As soon as Batman arrives, he does hear Dr. Destiny saying things so loud, he's hoping that everybody is listening because he wants to make sure that before he dies, he gets his word out to the public, Batman or really anybody in this room right now. And what he is saying is, do not fall asleep. Do not dream, because if you dream, he'll find what he is looking for. He's looking for the Nightmare Stone. But right after he says that, bam, he dies. Like something just rips him right in half. Like down the middle, but like not completely in half. He's kind of cut open, really. Either way, he's dead. But after he died, you didn't have Batman say his nightmares killed him. Now, as soon as Batman said that, Harley Quinn's kind of like, wait a second, bro. Are you going to tell me that this man died because of his nightmares? And you have Batman say, yes, he died from his nightmares. Now, while Batman and Harley Quinn are trying to leave the hospital to figure out what in the world could be their next step, well, that is the moment they come to find out that someone has been able to possess the body of Dr. Destiny, even though he's dead. And so whoever took over his body begins to talk to Batman. Now, at first, you have Batman think it's Deadman, but it's not Deadman. It's somebody else. But this person right now gives us more hints about what this story is going to be about. Because right now, you do have our mysterious character say, hey, listen, I'm looking for the Nightmare Stone. And I realize that right now it's hidden in one of your guys' dreams. Meaning that Dr. Destiny placed the Nightmare Stone in one of our heroes' dreams so that it'll be kept away from our mysterious character. But now our mysterious character knows that he is going to begin the process of diving into everybody's dreams to hopefully find the stone that he's actually looking for. Now, you do have Batman try to fight against the now possessed body of Dr. Destiny, but again, this is not magic. This is something worse than magic. But whoever has taken over the body of Dr. Destiny, they do say one thing. They do have one goal in mind. They have one dream in mind, to show that superheroes are technically nothing. There's nothing good about superheroes at all. But once that person gets his Nightmare Stone, he'll be able to show the world what he actually means when it comes to superheroes. And so right now, it's Batman and Harley Quinn fighting against some kind of creatures that were kind of brought here thanks to this person who is possessing the body of Dr. Destiny. But then things get even worse after that, because then we jump over to Wonder Woman. Now, when we do, we actually see her right now with Detective Chimp and also Zatanna, because all three characters are examining the body of Dr. Destiny, the one at the Hall of Justice. Now, with that being said, though, while they're looking over the body, that is the moment something comes out of the body that does affect all three characters, trying to knock out all three characters. And matter of fact, when it comes to Wonder Woman and Detective Chimp, they are knocked out. Now, Zatanna was almost knocked out, but luckily for her, she did use a magic spell to protect her, but unfortunately, the other two characters are now knocked out. And for Superman, this man did not even stand a chance, because while he's flying around, just like that, the same thing that knocked out Wonder Woman is also knocking him out as well. But the problem is, though, Homeboy's mid-air, so he's going to fall down pretty hard. But either way, he's also taking over. And whoever this person is, he's now telling us, the readers, that he does not plan on just taking over just the heroes and the villains, but everybody on Earth as well. But then we jump over to Batman and Harley Quinn. Now, when we do see Batman and Harley Quinn right now still fighting against those creatures that are just coming out of nowhere. But the same thing that knocked out Superman, Wonder Woman, and also Detective Chimp is also knocking out Batman and Harley Quinn. Now, at first, when it comes to Batman, he's kind of like, no, I will not get knocked out by this. And matter of fact, he does try to use his bat suit as a way to keep him awake, but unfortunately, it's not going to work. He still gets knocked out. And the thing is, he begins his nightmare in this book right here, and I'm pretty sure his two-part miniseries that ties into this event is going to be about this nightmare. And of course, his nightmare is when his parents were killed. The night his parents died. And this is Bruce Wayne having to relive that moment. But back in the real world, we do see that Batman's body is just left there. And we do see some creatures are beginning to kind of crawl over to Batman and most likely try to eat Batman's body. Now, luckily for Batman, you have Deadman take over Batman's body and begin to use Batman's body to communicate to whoever is actually doing this. Now, that is the moment we kind of find out who is our mysterious bad guy. This bad guy who apparently to Deadman was locked away in the Nightmare Realm. But right now, our mysterious bad guy is no longer trapped there. And he's now on Earth able to walk freely, but looking for the Nightmare Stone still. And we kind of find out our mysterious bad guy, his name is Insomnia. He is our latest bad guy for this event right here. And right now, he's the one looking for the Nightmare Stone. But this actually wraps up this one shot, which then leads into all the different miniseries tie-ins for the main storyline, but also the main storyline as well, which I think comes out next week. Either way, though, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So with that being said, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.